This is Jam Nation.
With Jonesy and Amanda.
Hard to believe it's 30 years since The Late Show debuted on ABC TV. This was the show that was instrumental in how Australians of our generation saw comedy. So many famous people who are still working in this field. Tom Gleisner, Jane Kennedy, Judith Lucy, Tony Martin, Mick Malloy and Rob Sitch. Great segments like Bar Jars, Charlie the Wonder Dog, Piss Week World. So much to discuss, and Rob Sitch joins us now.
Here he is.
Hello, Rob.
Oh, lovely to be speaking with you, Amanda.
Wow.
30 years. When you set out, did you have any idea that you'd all still be working by and large together, but what a force you'd be?
No, we didn't. And here's the advantage we had back then is that teenagers on a Saturday night were trapped at home. So we had an audience of fugitives, sort of hostages, really, and it was before social media, so we really didn't know who was watching, and it seemed to be 70-year-old ABC viewers that wanted a BBC drama back on, or it was 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and eventually, you know, the feedback came back from them, and that was the delight.
Yeah. And because you would have been on after Hey Hey It's Saturday, so Hey Hey It's Saturday would have been on at 9, and then you guys would have come on. It would have been a nice bookend.
Yeah, well, Jonesy, I think by then, Hey, had realised that late on a Saturday night was even too tough for them. So they moved to 7:30, and we used to come on at 10 o'clock live. Can you believe it? I mean, it was just madness.
That's nuts.
So doing it live, what kind of things went wrong? I remember watching the show and seeing Tony Martin say, I just left out an entire verse to that song.
Well, back then we had, I mean, you guys have all done television. Now you've got auto cue. You look straight at the camera and the words come up on the screen for you. Back then it was paper. It was literally a physical paper that was rolled through. And we used to do these two sporting characters called Graham and the Colonel. And we'd write it the night before at midnight, and we'd go in, and then we'd lose our place. And the auto cue sheet would go up, down, back. and eventually the auto cue lady put her head into the camera and looked at us and shook her head and said, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, you know, I've got a confession to make. Back in the 90s, I was at one of the first radio awards, and I was just agog. I was working at my first radio station, 6K at Karratha. I'd been nominated for this award for being something alive, and I came along to the Big Smoke, and you know Brian Bury was there, and Stan Zamatic and Baby John Burgess. I go into the toilet, and there I see Tom Gleisner and Rob Sitch, you know, my heroes from the D generation. And you guys were at the urinal, and you turned around, walked towards me, and they said, "G'day, young fella, where are you from?" And I went, "Oh, Karratha." And you said, God bless you, probably got a tape in your top pocket. And I did, but I went, oh, no, as if I would...
An audition tape.
Because the boss said, when you go there, take along a tape in case you see some bigwigs, and you hand them a tape. And
my God, Jesus, if you had handed it to us at that point, Jones, you'd be an accountant right now.
I was worried you were going to pat me down. I thought, have you got a tape?
Got a wire.
I remember that night. I think they were sponsored. The awards were sponsored by Telstra.
Yes.
And everyone had to be presented the award by the CEO of Telstra, who had clearly never met heard a single one of us before.
Brilliant. Is it true that the show wrapped up because of the Gulf War, that all the funding went to the newsroom?
No, actually, the Gulf War, no, we were 92, 93, we were after that. And so the reason it wrapped up was really so simple. I mean, we only did 2 years, 40 hours. I mean, one season of MasterChef, so they'd still have 15 cooks remaining. So I think Mick wanted to do a stand-up tour the following year, and we went, okay, fine. And then Tony goes, oh, if Mick's not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, fair enough. And then we all looked at each other and go, well, that's it.
Oh.
So it wasn't really the breakup of the Beatles, Amanda. It was,
and was there overtures?
Was
there overtures from the commercial networks? I'm surprised it never ended up on Channel 9 or 7.
There was, but I mean, it was just we looked at each other. We went, "There's no way this band's getting back together now if they're going to go for a year." And everyone went. We went and did a show called Frontline, and everyone went their own ways.
And I love that because you look at the length and breadth of the shows that you guys do up until like Have You Been Paying Attention and Utopia. It just never stops. What's your next? Is there something in the pipeline that you can tell us about?
Well, it's funny enough, an idea that we had 25 years ago we called it News Hounds back then. Tom and I looked, and then after 25 years, Tom and I looked at each other and said, we're about 2 generations too old for that idea. And so then we approached a guy called Tim McDonald, and that's called the Cheap Seats, which is on...
Oh, yes, love
10
that,
at the
love
moment.
it.
Yeah, so that's an idea we had way back, and then realised if you're getting your 4th booster, you're probably not young enough to be up.
To be up that late.
To be up that late, that's right.
Well, Rob, congratulations to you. That 30 years and what a legacy, and you're still killing it. It would be terrible if we were sitting there going, "Oh, Rob, you should do more of that." But you're prolific.
Oh, well, Jonesy, I'm just so glad we never got that tape, because I think we would have ruined your career.
It's been fantastic following you guys on social media this week, and all the clips you've been putting up from the show. It's just been great.
My favourite one is Jane on Sale of the Century. I thought that was one of my favourite ones.
That was a long list. She was invited on to Celebrity Sale of the Century. I think Andrew Denton won that year. And that's how long some of these sketches took to plan. We said, we'll wait for it to go to air, and then we'll get Tony Barber in a van outside and pretend that she's getting live answers. So we actually, funnily enough, it surprised me how much was planned looking back at it.
It was just brilliant, and so many great memories.
Champagne comedy,
Absolutely.
Rob. Champagne.
That was meant as a sarcastic comment at the time, but people have taken that to be sincere these days.
That's what's happened, mate. Well, the tape's in the mail, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Rob.
Good day. Always great to catch up.
Thank
Good on
you.
Amanda.
Bye.
See you, Rob.